All right, shalom, shalom. It's another GMS lesson coming back at you. Before I do get into this lesson, I want to start off by giving our honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. Next up, double honors to my apostles, Elder Great Millstone, taught me the 100% truth of the Bible, and who were well. Peace, love, salutations to all the brothers across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth in all diligence and sincerity, right? It's the brother Shawai from GMS North Carolina Church out here in Raleigh. Able to put together a Lord will edifying lesson. And as you can see the title, right? Nuclear destruction is biblical, right? Nuclear destruction is biblical, right? So, I'm going to just jump right into it. This is Revelation chapter 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and the third woe cometh quickly. Right, so woe means death and destruction. So when we talk about that, when we talk about death and destruction, right, we have to think about the things. World War I, World War II, right? Well, all the nations, right, major nations of the earth, fighting against each other in a world war, right, which causes the most casualties. Let's get into Let's see, how many people died in World War I? Okay, so the war raged for more than 4 years, from August 1914 to November 1918, and resulted in the deletions of more than 9 million combatants. Come on, man. Let me see. Estimated that slightly more than 9.7 million military personnel from more than 24 nations lost their lives, plus more than 6.8 million civilians. Right? So what? That's about what? Oh, that's about 16 million, right? Roughly. Right? 15 million, right? The 6 plus 9 is 15, but rounding both those, let's say 9.7 million military personnel and 6.8 million civilians. So what? That's a lot. That's a lot, man. Anywhere from around 15 million to 17 million people, man, in total, in the span of 4 years. And this is World War I. So what it said, the second woe was past, right? But we just looked up the first woe, right? And the second woe is past. Behold, the third woe cometh quickly. So let's see. Let's see World War II. Bear with me. And I'm on my iPad, so bear with me. You won't be able to see these, but it's okay. World War II. Come on now. Let me get. Okay, and World War II, the dates, right? 1939 to 1945. So within a span of each other, what did we read? What did we read in that last one? Oh, go back. Let me go back. So, okay, 1914 to 1918, and then 1939. Let's get that real quick. 1939, right? Minus what? 19. When that was in 18. That was only 20 years, 2 decades. But we're talking about the wars that have taken the most lives, man. Wars that have taken the most lives, man, to date, happening in the span of 2 decades. You would think these wars would have happened. Oh, World War I happened 2,000 years ago, and then the next war that was just as big and even worse, we call that World War II. That happened 2,000 years later. No, these happened within the same century. World War I and World War II, man. Right? Let's see the casualties in World War II. Let's just get it, man. And we're just bringing this out to show the significance of these wars, right? And how bad the third world's war is going to be, right? And we're gonna get that too, because right here in Isaiah 9 and 5. So I'm not gonna skip ahead too much. World War II casualties. So World War II casualties. How many people died in World War II? Just give me a rough estimate. Official casualty sources estimate battle death deletions at nearly 15 million military personnel and civilian deletions at over 38 million. Right? So what? That's about what? I'm bad at the math. Right? 38 plus 15. That's roughly 53 million people, man. 53 million people. So it jumped from 15 to 17 million people. Let's just go with 15. We ain't gonna say the whole 17. We ain't gonna round the numbers up. And plus, this is just what they can calculate, right? So 15 million people in World War I, jumping not even half a century, not even 50 years later. We're talking about 20 years later, 21 years later, the Second World War happened, and it was 58. Let's get it, 53 million deaths, man. Right? 53. It's more than doubled the original tally of deaths, man. Right? And what? This devil has only sharpened that sword because he was blessed with the sword. This devil, Esau, even so-called white man, was blessed with the sword. And the sword is symbolic for, his weaponry, his military might, right? It's symbolic for destruction, war, right? So at warfare, this devil has only sharpened his sword, man. It's only sharpened his ability to cause carnage and violence throughout the earth, right? Let's go. It's Isaiah 9 and 5. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. So now when we think back to the wars, even before World War I and World War II, right? We're talking about the ancient wars. We're talking about the thinking back to our warlike movies, Troy, right? Braveheart. I haven't really seen all of Braveheart, but I'm sure it's fought like that. Braveheart, Troy, Game of Thrones, right? I like what's depicted in the wars of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones or the House of the Dragon, which is a newer one, right? It shows you how many casualties was really on the battlefield, man, right? And it's confused noise. You got men yelling, screaming, war drums, depending on who's fighting, right? You got horses galloping, right? You got catapults, the shing and the sheathing of the swords clanging, shing, shing, right? Men screaming, garments rolling blood from that hand-to-hand close quarter combat, right? Striking a man and I don't want to get taken down, but you strike a man and his bodily fluids, it sprays all over the place, and now it's all on your face. But you got to keep fighting. You got men losing limbs. So that confused noise and garments rolled in blood, right? That's how the old ancient wars was fought. But what? But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. And we know that. And we know that this is talking about this Third World War, right? This new, no pun intended, but the new modern warfare, right? Brothers played the game, modern warfare, right? Because when we can tell that, right? So we can think about them old ancient wars and battles and stuff that went on. And we looked at World War I, World War II. You got the